of Seaside Park County, Ocean State of New Jersey, held on Thursday, December 19th, 2024, advertised to begin at the conclusion of the work session meeting, which has now just ended. Pursuant to the provisions of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting was properly provided by transmitting the notice of the meeting for publication in the Asbury Park Press and the Star Ledger on January 5th, 2024. Notice of the meeting of the governing body also has been posted in the corridor of the municipal building and in the office of the municipal clerk. Roll call.
Councilmember Anfield?
Present.
Councilmember Condos?
Here.
Councilmember Connor?
Here.
Councilmember Kraft?
Here.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Here.
Council President Wilk?
Here.
Mayor Pearson?
Here.
Thank you.
Let us all rise for a moment of silence to be followed by our Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item on the agenda is a request for approval of the minutes. Those are the minutes for December 5th, 2024, a work session, and December 5th, 2024, a regular meeting. Any questions or comments from council? If not, a motion?
I'll make the motion, Mayor.
Motion for approval by Councilmember Kraft.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Rotunda. Roll call.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Yes.
Councilmember Anfield?
Abstain, I was not present at that meeting.
Councilmember Condos?
Yes.
Councilmember Connor?
Yes.
Council President Wilk?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next are requests for approval of the special meeting minutes for December 5th, 2024, closed session.
I'll make the motion, Mayor.
Motion by Councilmember Kraft.
I'll second it, Mayor.
Second by Councilmember Connor. Roll call.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Councilmember Connor?
Yes.
Councilmember Anfield?
Abstain, I was not present at that meeting.
Councilmember Condos?
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Yes.
Council President Wilk?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next are the ordinances. There's final reading and a public hearing of ordinance 224-26, providing for the reconstruction of Stockton Avenue and appropriating $553,255, therefore providing for the issuance of $250,000 in bonds or notes of the borough to finance same. And that, as per the discussion at past meetings, entails the difference in terms of the grant that we had received from the DOT for that construction project. Any other comments from council? If not, we'll go into the audience. If there are any public comments or questions for final reading, public hearing, ordinance 224-26. Yes, Alan?
Yes, Alan Mobley, 1450 Street.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I missed how much is the grant for?
$303,000.
I'm sorry?
$303,000.
Thank you.
Any other public questions or comments? Hearing none, I would close the public portion and I'd entertain a motion from council.
I'll make that motion. Second.
Motion by Council President Wilk, second by Councilmember Kraft. Roll call.
Council President Wilk?
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Councilmember Anfield?
Yes.
Councilmember Condos?
Yes.
Councilmember Connor?
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next is a budget transfer resolution 224-346. It's authorizing the transfer for the year 2024 municipal budget appropriations as per NJSA 40A-458. And this, as per the statute, entails certain line items, entail one line item from another where there's funding still available, and in terms of balancing out the year for other items. Any further questions, comments from council? Or if not, is there a motion?
I'll make the motion, Mayor.
Motion by Councilmember Kraft,
I'll second, Mr. Mayor.
second by Councilmember Amabile. Roll call.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Councilmember Anfield?
Yes.
Councilmember Condos?
Yes.
Councilmember Connor?
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Yes.
Council President Wilk?
Yes.
Motion approved.
And Next are payment of claims, 224-347, approving payment itemized claims as set forth on the check registry bill list for the period December 6th to December 5th. That is typo?
Yes, it should be December 6th to December 19th.
19th,
I'll make the motion.
2024. With that amendment, there's a motion by Councilmember Kraft,
I'll second that.
second by Council President Wilk. Roll call?
Councilmember Kraft,
Yes.
Council President Wilk,
Yes.
Councilmember Anfield,
Yes.
Councilmember Condos,
Yes.
Councilmember Connor,
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda,
Yes.
motion approved.
Next are the resolutions. I'll read in summary fashion. 348, requesting approval of items of revenue appropriations. 349, approving and accepting the corrective action plan of the Chief Financial Officer for the 2023 Annual Report of Audit. 350, appointing special law enforcement officer trainees for the Borough of Seaside Park. 351, authorizing the execution of a contract with Jobs for Blue for coordination of off-duty employment of police officers for the year 2025. 352, authorizing membership within the Borough of Seaside Park Volunteer Fire Company. 353, authorizing the adjustment of designated water sewer utility accounts. 354, authorizing out-of-rank pay. 355, authorizing advertisement and receipt of bids for the fiscal year 2024 municipal aid roadway improvements to Stockton Avenue. 356, authorizing special legal counsel Kevin B. Reardon Esquire LLC to author and submit a letter to the NJDEP for the matter of beach replenishment. 357, rejecting all bids for COA counsel. 358, authorizing an agreement with Coastal Camera Network LLC for the provision of hosting and streaming services and camera equipment. 359, authorizing an agreement with Shore Logic LLC for the purchase of Marina Software intellectual property. 360, authorizing CME Associates to provide professional engineering services for the 14th Avenue Shoreline Stabilization Project. 361, authorizing a proposal from Kyle McManus Associates for the provision of affordable housing planning services. 362, authorizing participation in the direct install program. 363, authorizing the refund of unused planning board escrow funds. 364, authorizing the appointment of Robert Charles Malloy to the position of full-time laborer for the Department of Public Works. Any questions or comments from any council members as to any of the specific resolutions?
Mayor, I always
Yes.
just like to say I'm always happy when I see new members of the volunteer fire company. So this has 2 new members, and having attended their, holiday celebration, they have a lot of young people joining as well as retired professional firemen. So I think our department is it's really growing in a positive way. And the other one on 350 is the 5 law enforcement officers. Always nice to get new people in there, and I'm glad we invest in their training.
Well said on both accounts, and I know we all agree.
I'd like to comment a little bit about Resolution 362. I mean, the 3 buildings that were being identified for energy efficient upgrades includes lighting, HVAC, heat pump upgrades, furnace replacements, smart thermostats, CO sensors. The overall cost for the 3 buildings, which are the police department building, the well 6 pump house, and DPW. And the overall cost is $534,312. However, we will be receiving $341,033, and it ends up costing for all that work $193,278. So it's significant savings for all that improvements that we're going to be getting.
And interest-free financing,
And interest-free financing.
60 months.
60 months.
Plus, we should be saving on our energy costs.
So that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Bill.
Mayor, I'd like to just talk a little bit about 364. happy to say we're adding another employee to the Public Works. Charles Malloy, Robert. Much needed to have employees in the Public Works, so I'm looking forward to adding another one.
Perfect.
Mayor, if I can also go back, one of the items I didn't have a question on when we were talking about the claims, but all of our new flagpoles were installed up on the beach and boardwalk, and I had noted to Joe that when I was walking, I'm like, wow, these are all shining and new, and I hadn't even seen anybody up there installing them, but they look outstanding. I'm excited that we got that done pretty quickly. That was good. They look
Yeah, they
great.
really do, because we had talked, and I was like beaming about it too.
Yeah, they look really
I saw
good.
it, and, you know, I just had a picture, you know, like with the gold, the brass ball on the top. Now,
Yeah.
you know, being an Eagle fan, it would have been nice to have an Eagle gold. Right? The ball looks very nice. Ball looks very nice. I can see it in the blue sky, the red, white, blue flag, and all. It's gonna look really nice. Yeah, it really is. Yeah. They're gonna put a cheesesteak on it.
Any other comments or questions from council?
Yeah.
Hearing none, it's our practice to allow any public comments on resolutions, though it's not required by law. If anyone in the public has any questions, or comments rather, not questions necessarily, on any resolutions, if you have them, if you could give your name and address. Hearing none, I would close the public portion. I'd entertain a motion from council as a consent agenda, unless anyone has a request for voting on any individual otherwise. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion, Mayor.
Motion by Councilmember Kraft,
I'll second it. Mayor.
second by Council President Wilk. Roll call?
Councilmember Kraft,
Yes.
Council President Wilk,
Yes.
Councilmember Anfield,
Yes.
Councilmember Condos,
Yes.
Councilmember Connor,
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda,
Yes.
motion approved.
And that concludes the
Before you
written
adjourn, may I say
agenda.
something before the council adjourns?
Well, the
2
council
seconds.
wasn't going to adjourn. I was going to ask for comments from the
I'll
council.
make a comment.
So you have a comment.
Comment to Mike, the mayor of the council. Several people of the environmental committee have resigned their position on the committee, so we are light people in the environmental committee. So you know, anybody who would be interested in joining the environmental committee, by all means, let me know or our clerk know, because I don't know, Mr. Mayor, if we can have it. We're light so many members, I don't know if you can have a committee. So please pass the word out, I appreciate it. That's all I have to say, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Anything else from council? If not, I'll go into the audience if there are any public comments. If anyone has them, if they could give their name and address into the record. Yes, Alan?
This is not on resolutions, this is on,
Anything.
Public comment, anything.
Alan Mobley, 1450 Street. I'd like to know if we can find out when we might see Remington Barrack here giving us their new version of the the Bayfront project. You know, every month I kind of hope that we're going to get a notice saying she's going to pop in, but I would really like to know, could we call them and say, when do you think we're going to have the plans? When are we going to have the public here so you could see them? And I'm hoping it's sooner than later, number one. Number two, I think last year we gave a grant to Captain Alex. He is on the different project that the mayor started, and we don't want to talk about how far back it's been, and we've been having some setbacks. But he was the gentleman that was going to put in the oyster shells and so on and so forth to help the wave action. And I know that we gave him money last year to apply or rewrite a grant, and I don't know the disposition of that. And if we could find out, I'd appreciate it.
I know on the latter point that other product, Captain Al's working with the Stockton and finalizing a application which addresses what the issues that Army Corps of Engineers had raised, and the primary focus of their, I guess you'd call objections, because they wouldn't give a permit, entailed what they said we needed was a greater SAV mitigation plan, and the SAV, as we all know, is eelgrass.
Right.
And so he's putting together a final plan application that incorporates their comments. And, well, I don't want to bite my tongue probably, but one of my favorite topics, so you might want to look into, they're all public records. There's two that I think might be of interest, one of which is a JCP&L's application, and you see at the barge, it's been out in the water the last several weeks, and they were given what some have labeled to be a pass as to any SAV mitigation plan, and you note that their trenching goes under the entire width of the bay, and you can draw your conclusions as to what kind of SAV might be disturbed for their application versus what SAV exists at all in the borough of Seaside Park, if there was any in the target area, which we plan to use for the oyster reefs and the other enhancement for a living shoreline. So that's one application, and they were given their approval from the Army Corps said that they would have to monitor. After the project was completed, they should monitor the situation of SAV for up to 5 years. So that was, their permit was granted on that basis. And there's another nearby act of digging into the bay and going into the SAV area, which had been proposed for a under the bay electrified cable going out into the water, and it was contemplated to connect into the wind turbines. And that too entailed what many have labeled to be an unfortunate circumstance without an SAV plan other than monitoring. So there are two examples right in our immediate proximity.
Okay, because last December when I had talked to him, he said he now felt that he had the information necessary to get that permit.
Captain Al did?
Yeah, that was last December when I emailed him, that was his response.
He subsequently, we've done work, and I know Marty may have done it on his own, and Eric may have. As you know, this particular fall was very unique. We had, what was it, 80-some days without rain, and the lack of runoff contributed to some of the most amazingly clear bay water that I think any of us have ever encountered. You could see down 10 feet or more, and I know we were experimenting and people were trying to see if you could use a drone. I know that's been a I should mention that, but for one of the positive uses for drones, that was ongoing, and you could, I don't know if they're going to accept it. I know that that's been looked at through Captain Al. It was so clear you could actually see, and you could see where SAV existed. Obviously, that was after the season, but there was still the brown SAV, so that might help us, according to the scientists, as we have our own Dr. Bologna, who's also our expert, and I know it got up to him in the chain too, but whether or not the Army Corps is accepting that as an actual study, I haven't been told.
Okay. And the last thing, I don't know if anybody could answer this, do you know how many students we have attending Central Regional?
I don't remember. I just actually was talking to Joanne Penn. It's not a lot. I want to say under 30 at this point, but I can find out for sure, let you know. I think it's
Maybe
under
I
30.
think last year it might have been 34, I think.
Yeah.
something
It was,
like that.
Yeah,
Huh?
I think last year that number was.
But she joked about it. I happened to know, so I was talking to her as part of one of our book clubs, and she joked that, there were a lot of graduates last year. I had 2, Carmela LaFelps, the O'Brien boy. There were like 6 kids from Seaside Park who graduated last year, which took our numbers down significantly. I want to say it's under 30 or close around that number, but I can find out from Joanne.
All right, thank you very much, and have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
You too.
Healthy.
Thank
You too, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions, public comments, rather? Hearing none, I'll close the public portion, and I'd entertain a motion from council.
Mayor, before you do that, if I may for a second, a resolution was passed tonight for Mr. Reardon to author a letter to the NJDEP for part of the sand that was going to be placed in Seaside Park on I&H that our administrator advised had gone from 110 cubic feet to 22,000 cubic feet on top of our dunes and on top of our piping plovers that are part of our approved beach management plan. The resolution tonight was actually passed for December 6th. We had Mr. Reardon author that letter, and based upon all the good work of this council and the mayor over the past few years recently in working on not signing the state aid agreement, the letter went out from Mr. Reardon, and we did receive word from the NJDEP management that they are not going to be placing any sand on our piping plovers, on our dunes. They will not be charging us $380,000 that we were not going to pay in any event. So I just think it should be known, because there are so many people in the audience here tonight that would be interested in that kind of information, that we would send that message out that the mayor and council stood fast on their principles, especially Mayor Peterson, who's been doing a lot of work on this, a lot of letter writing, and we were successful with regard to this beach replenishment cycle, and I think that was good news for the citizens and the residents of Seaside Park, that this mayor and council did such good work, and we thank Mr. Reardon also for his concise letter to the DEP that he did author, and I just thought that should be mentioned. And then finally, I just would want to wish the mayor and council, of course, and anybody, all the residents of Seaside Park, a very Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holiday, and a healthy and happy New Year, and thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you,
Great news.
Thank you, Counselor. It is good. That's my Christmas present.
And I suppose we should also mention, through the good work of the council and our attorney, Mr. Zabarski, on the other issue that came up at the last public meeting, and that entailed disturbance of the bayfront dune area, the native long-term cedar tree, the growths that were down there. That too had a successful outcome as a result of this council taking a stand and the unified work of Mr. Zabarski's office, our borough family, our administrator, Karen Crone, Eric, and his people on Public Works. Everyone documented what had occurred. Everyone gave notice immediately to JCP&L, and that too is working rapidly as we speak toward what I anticipate to be a very successful resolution. It's close to being formalized, put in writing, but I know council's still working on it, but the JCP&L, for want of a better term, apologized. I'll use that term, but that they absolutely did.
So council, they apologize. So admitted their error, and they will work.
That too has a very positive result through the council's steadfast action of the last meeting. So I know we all join in wishing everyone a happy, healthy holiday season, and thank those that came out this evening for the regular meeting.
To our video audience.
And
yes, where people stack.
And last would be, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Make that motion, Mr.
Motion
Mayor.
by Councilmember Ammerville,
Second.
second by Councilmember Condos. Roll call.
Councilmember Anfield?
Yes.
Councilmember Condos?
Yes.
Councilmember Connor?
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Yes.
Council President Wilk?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you.